All right, I got to it. Do we have a quorum yet?
Yeah, I saw Olson and Blackwood were also on. It's Leanna. But
I
Blackwood's
see
not at his
Blackwood.
desk.
I don't see Olson.
Yeah,
Saw him.
he,
Okay, I see him now.
I'm here.
All right, perfect. Okay, well then it is 3:01. We'll get an open our special meeting of the Board of Trustees of Little Elm ISD being held today, September 8th, 2020 at 3:01. So due to the health and safety concerns related to COVID-19 coronavirus, this meeting will be conducted by video conference or telephone call. At least a quorum of the board will be participating via by video conference in accordance with provisions of section 551.125 or 551.127 of the Texas Governor Code that has been suspended by order of the governor. This board meeting is being done via Zoom, and it will be live streamed on YouTube at Little Elm ISD TV. All right, so with that, Ms. Flores, introduction and roll call. I guess. So we have present is Leanna Harding, Dan Blackwood, Jason Olson. Not present is the other three members. Okay. All right, we will. Well, actually, do we want to put citizen input above going into closed? Do we have that individual online?
Yes, David, he is. It's Mr. Lusk. I've added him to the group. He's
Okay.
joining us with his phone.
So as far as we know, is there anybody else that wants to do citizen input?
He is the only one that signed up.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move item 4 up above the board closing into closed meeting, so we don't keep keeping anyone waiting too long. So, Mr. Lusk, are you online?
I see a phone number here, but it looks like it's muted.
See, Mr. Lusk, if you are there, you might be muted. Can we unmute him from our side?
I am trying to do that. I'm unable to unmute him.
Okay. We'll give it another minute or so, and then maybe we will go into closed and then come back to citizen input.
And David, I don't think we need to go into close today.
Okay, straight into action items. All right, well then in that case, let's go ahead and since we don't need the closed section, we'll bypass item 4, citizen input. Hopefully we can get him online and available, and then we'll go straight into our action item, which is consider approval of contract services for cleaning services, presented by Mr. Reeves.
Thank you, President Montemayor. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
I can.
Great, great. So, and board members and Superintendent Gallagher, just here to, the administration is seeking the authorization to use contracted services for cleaning services. And what this is currently on our staffing needs, we are currently down 12 custodians, but currently we are working with our job order contracting people to clean our facilities to help pick up the gap, the stopgap between the people that we're missing. Say again?
Mr. Reed,
Yeah.
can you hold on a second?
Sure.
We go ahead and try all Mr. because that take place any action.
I'm sorry, Daniel, I didn't get that.
Yeah, we need to call Lusk. We attempt to try Mr. Lusk. Community needs to come action item. Can you 1 second try to call?
Sure.
And hold on. Didn't get that.
Is this Mr. Lusk? This is Daniel Gallagher, Superintendent for Little Elm ISD. We are, we had a trouble with unmuting you, so we wanted to be able to give you an opportunity to speak during public comments. So I've got you on speakerphone, and so if you would like to go ahead and speak at this time, we've got you on speakerphone.
Okay, I appreciate that because I heard you trying to get me connected. It says #6 and that didn't work. So.
That's okay, we got you. And I just want to verify, Mr. Blackwood, can you hear Mr. Lusk?
Yes, I finally got audio.
Okay, great. All right, so Mr. Lusk, go ahead.
Okay, here goes. Again, my name is John Lusk. I live at 1229 Cedar Pine Lane in Oak Point, Texas. And obviously I live in Oak Point. I'm addressing the board, and thank you for taking my time. I'm addressing the board about the recent 60-acre purchase of land in Oak Point by Little Elm Independent School District. I went back to look at the August 24th meeting, and I know it was held, there was executive session where it was discussed at length, I'm sure, but there's no discussion, 6 or 7 was enough in vote to buy the land. Now, I know you can't talk about land by purchases before they happen, but I guess I'm interested in finding out, one, why would you buy land on a small little 2-lane road without any kind of shoulders and deep ditches on either side of it that exists right now? Why would you not buy land on Highway 720, which is a common road between the two of us? For those that don't remember, Oak Point is on the west side of the Elm. It's your little neighbor that's about 10 times smaller. Anyway, I'd like to know what the data was used to make those decisions to buy land on Yacht Club Road. And also like to know any involvement by Oak Point City staff before this decision was made. So I get that through a freedom of information request, or how would I get that information?
Yeah, Mr. Lusk, technically, you would do Freedom of Information Act, but since you're asking me directly and the board, I will certainly send you an email. We can get together and talk about that.
Yeah, I understand. I appreciate you do that. I had reached out. I started looking into it today because it's all the talk in Oak Point, as you probably can imagine.
Yeah.
For sake of honesty, truth, let's be clear here. I'm on the city council in Oak Point also. On the front, I know of any, nobody on the board is from Oak Point. I saw that. Kind of, I just like to investigate a little bit, dig into it, kind of know. I guess this is a better term for it.
Sure.
What's going on with buying land on the Yacht Club Road and kind of decisions made to do that. It's got people in an uproar over it in Oak Point, obviously.
Okay, well, I'll have my administrative assistant send you an email, and we'll get in touch with you and set up a time. But just for full transparency, I'm also a resident of Oak Point as well. So, I
didn't see that.
Yeah, I appreciate your service on the Oak Point Council.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that comment. Okay, well, we'll get together. My email address is johnlusk706@gmail, but it's also on the form that I submitted.
All right, very good, Mr. Lusk.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. Any other questions for me?
No, we appreciate you calling in.
Okay.
All right.
I'm hanging out and watch from a distance on YouTube.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lusk. Okay. So moving on, then we will, if there's not any other citizen input, right?
No.
Okay.
That's correct. No other citizen input.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the contract services for cleaning services with Mr. Reeves.
Thank you, President Montemayor and board members and Superintendent Gallagher. Just here to go over, and the administration is seeking the approval of 10 additional custodial staff through contracted services. This is the same company that the town of Little Elm uses, and we're piggybacking on their contract. And so currently we have 7 open positions. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, 5 current open positions. 7 are pending. So we have 5 that are open, 7 are pending. That means through a background check or reference checks. That could be fingerprinting, things of that. So there's been some delays in fingerprinting or getting those done because of the COVID. And so, those are 3 to 4 weeks out once those are past the reference checks. And then we have 2 on some other things, 2 other employees that are done through FMLA and some other issues. And so we're looking at these contracted services as a stopgap between now and when we can hire those other services. So I believe, hopefully you have that contract that we shared. So it's looking at 60 days for us to use them. And in that 60 days, we are hoping that we'll have all the positions hired. And so the monthly cost for those 10 employees, it's $18 an hour at $43,200 per month for 2 months for a total of $86,400. And so on that note, the administration recommends the board approve the contract for cleaning services and authorize the superintendent or their designee to execute final contracts. And on that, I will answer any questions.
Is there any, is there a motion, first, is there a motion to approve the contract for these cleaning services?
So moved.
So moved.
All right. Well, I saw first, Dan Blackwood. So then Leanna or Jason, do you want to be the second?
So moved.
All right. I got Leanna on the second. All right. So it was moved by Dan, seconded by Leanna. All right. So now opening it up to questions.
Yeah, so I've got a question, Rod. So I saw in the contract, are we locked in to the 10 employees regardless for the $40,000 per month, or is that we can get up to that amount? That's the biggest thing I had a concern about, is because you're saying we're 3 to 4 weeks out. Well, that's going to put us in the second month. So I can see the first month hiring all 10, but I don't think we should be locked into all 10 in the second month if we don't need them.
Yeah, well, it won't be locked in. So that they gave us what they did, a daily rate for each employee. And so as we start hiring people on, we'll reduce that number of contracted services. So it's, I think, $144 for a daily rate for each of those employees. And so we will just reduce those as we bring people online.
Okay, because that's just not the way I read the contract and the way I was reading the notes. It seemed like we were locked into that price, like that was going to be our monthly fee we had to pay. So I wanted assurances that that's not what we're going to be paying. We'll be paying basically for what we use.
Yeah, and what we do is this motion that y'all have is to authorize the superintendent or Grant to execute final documents. So we'll assure that's part of the final agreement to lock that in before that is signed.
Okay, because like I said, that's just not the way I read the contracts. I've seen the contract, and that's not the way I read it. So I want to make sure we're not locked into 10 people per month guaranteed. Is whatever we need, we'll use and we'll contract through for them.
Sure, and maybe as the motion, we can, I don't know how Sonia wants to read that, but we can do it as noted or as stated or something.
Yeah, as discussed.
As discussed. So
that's the only questions I had. I was fine with the rest of it for the most part.
All right. Leanna or Dan?
No, Jason asked my question, so we're good.
Dan, you're muted.
There you go.
Okay. Just Rod, one quick question. I understand that where, with COVID and everything else, potentially this is what's hitting us, but is this mainly due because of COVID or because of the expansion of the middle schools, or what facilities are we looking at these for?
Well, I think that's a combination of things. We opened up 2 new middle schools, and also, with the COVID affected, how the unemployment was just until July, people were making more money staying at home through unemployment, and so I think it's a factor of all of those that contributed to it. So this is a perfect storm, I think, for everything to hit. So.
Okay. That was the base of my question, is just what, where we were using them, but that it does, but it doesn't answer it, but I get it.
Yeah, I did talk to, what Joel and Danny, and what we're going to do is, we like to keep those contracted services together. So we'll probably send those to the middle school and disperse, and we'll keep a lead custodian there, head custodian, and then we'll send the others out to the other campuses.
Okay. I'm good.
My main question was what Jason asked as well. I just wanted to make sure we weren't locked in, because I just wanted to make sure we were considering. My concern with being locked into 2 months, which again, kind of maybe just to add color as to why we need to clarify that contract, is whatever gave rise to us having this need, we need to address, whether it be that we're not paying our current staff enough, or that we're not, offering them at a high enough level for recruiting people. I think we need to get to the bottom of that, and as quickly as possible, to minimize, 1, the expense from this contract, but 2, the need for a contract like this going forward. So I don't want this to be kind of something that tells us, okay, well, we can wait for 2 months to figure out how to remedy this. We need to kind of make sure we're doing that in conjunction with using this as a stopgap for now, if that makes any sense.
No, it does, President Montemayor, and we're working, closely with Ashley and HR, and so this is at the top of our list to make sure we work on all those things on recruiting and all that stuff, and so hopefully we can have an update for you at our next board meeting too on that as well, if you'd like.
Because I know our principals are probably going to start fielding questions of some frustration if if people are going to say, well, I'm only getting paid 11 or 12 and the person next to me is getting 18. What's up with that? So they'll need to have some talking points as to, well, the 18th's what the firm's getting paid, the individuals may not be getting that, et cetera. However, we want to overcome any of those disparities internally before this gets too far out.
And just to speak to that, I think on the average, including our head custodians, we're making about $14 an hour. The starting is $10, $20 an hour, but the average is about $14 an hour. And if you add overtime, which this would be for many of our staff, it ends up being around $20, $21 an hour. So, it's comparable to what we're paying, our staff. And it actually may be a little less, but that is a great point. When you just look at that $18 an hour, you think that's all going to the employee, but it's not. So.
Yeah, I know I've been in a position where I've worked next to a consultant that makes double than I do, and I know even at my level that can be frustrating. So I can imagine for those staff. So we just need to be ready to answer those questions, and how do we remedy it going forward?
Fair point. So.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
No.
So all those in favor of approving, this contract for contracted cleaning services, with the focuses as discussed?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Yeah, that's the 4 of us online are yeses, and the motion passes.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any board comments aside from that?
No.
None for me.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Superintendent Gallagher, do you have any comments?
Yeah, just thank you, board members, for being flexible. I appreciate you all making time for the meeting today. And thank you to Grant and Rod and Ashley, and I believe Ross is on here as well. And also, I'm not sure if Cindy's on, and the team that's on here, and also to Miss Flora. So thank you all so much, and have a great afternoon.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting at 3:20? So
So
moved by
moved.
Jason, moved by Jason, seconded by Leanna. All those in favor? All right. Thank you very much. Meeting's adjourned at 3:20.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.